Shalom, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Rainer the Dog Trainer channel, and third cup of coffee. It's really good. Baxter's still sleeping. He can sleep. It's like the last week of summer vacation. And we have some very sad news to report. Our dear friend Susan passed away last Wednesday morning in the hospital, and she was feeling exhausted. She caught COVID at her work, and she came home, and then Baxter and I caught COVID. A couple other people caught COVID, and it ran its course like 10 days, whatever, and then we tested negative, and I think Susan said she had tested negative, and then the air conditioner broke for about a week and maybe 4 days in weather that was like over 100 degrees. We had like a 113 degree day, and we're in the house recouping from the COVID, and it's hot in here. So the aircon guy came out and fixed that, and Susan came out. She's like, yeah, I'm going to work. And she was so tired, and she's like, help me up. And I'm like, help you up? Help you stand up? It's like, you're not going to work. If you're not standing up, how are you going to run around doing your IT gig, for 10 hours? So I sent a text to her coworker and, asked the supervisor, let him know that she's not going to work. And he responded, done. So you're not going to work, Susan. You're going to rest. And she was saying, I need to remember to, and she's not finishing her sentences. And I'm like, that's it. I called the ambulance, they came, and boom, 100% oxygen on. 4 of them lifted her up and to the hospital. So now she's in a nice, cool, air-conditioned room, 100% oxygen. And they check everything out, and she tested positive for COVID, positive for pneumonia. She had some sort of infection. Let's see. I asked him to, I know she's dehydrated because she doesn't generally drink enough water. And they put her on the antibiotics, and they said her lungs were inflamed from the COVID. So her oxygen absorption wasn't happening. And her oxygen was like pegged at like 80, which is 20% lower than what it should be. So they have her on the 100% oxygen, and she's just in there, and they're just watching the oxygen levels. They gave her steroids to bring down the inflammation in her lungs, and that actually worked. They'd take an x-ray in the morning, and the x-ray said improvement, but not resolved. So, they're improving, but she's not out of the woods with that. She tested negative for the COVID, negative for the pneumonia. Her blood pressure stabilized, her heart rate stabilized, and then we're going, this is good progress. But over a few days, she became exhausted just trying to get the oxygen. So she asked, we told them absolutely don't put her on a ventilator. The family all the family had agreed that her sister died once they put her on the ventilator, so that her family, everybody was against it. She got to the point where she was tired, and she asked to be put on the ventilator, and that pulls the carbon dioxide out and puts the oxygen in, and the steroids are to bring down the inflammation in the lungs, and they took her off the antibiotics, and so the dogs are banging around in there. And so we were thinking, hey, I'm going to have to go pick her up and bring her home anytime now. And my dad was like, that's not always a bad thing to put them on a ventilator because they can actually rest. And she requested it. And then Baxter had one of the phones, I had one of the phones, and I saw that I missed some calls in the morning. And I called over there and, hey, I'm checking what the status is this morning. And they said she passed away. She just stopped breathing very early in the morning. So our dear friend Susan who just became the ultimate dog rescue person and a very, very good friend. And she's pretty much been like my counsel and my spiritual counsel for the last couple years. She's passed away, and you know, the silver lining is we know that, you know, she was right with God, and she's with Jesus, and she's out of that body that was causing her so much pain and discomfort, and this COVID is making its round again. She just couldn't absorb the oxygen. Her lungs were so damaged she couldn't absorb the oxygen. So we love you, Susan. We know you're in a better place. You know, this life is short. You know, we'll all be there soon. And so today is, you know, she had Susie, her dog Susie. She had Ruby, her dog Ruby. Yoshi. These are all of our dogs. Jack, Mama Graham, Brendale. We were breeding boxers. She's a big part of putting all these, you know, beautiful boxers with these beautiful families. And she rescued a lot of dogs. You know, we've had some cats, and she was a saint. She mentored a lot of people. She was always very kind and just wonderful. She's, you know, she helped my family out immensely. She helped Baxter and I out immensely. And I got to meet her son for the first time, which, Richard, I'm very sorry all this happened. And I can tell you, at least the last 2 years that we were here, there were a lot of laughs and a lot of good times, and she was very special to us as well. So today's Rainer, the dog trainer, is just going to be, you know, celebration of life and remembering Susan Cook, and hope all you guys are doing well out there. Okay, we'll see you next time. Poof.